I think I might have been a little hard on things heard and seen. The Woman in the Window is directed by Joe Wright, and it stars Amy Adams, Wyatt Russell, Brian Tyree Henry, Gary Oldman, and Julianne Moore. Amy Adams plays a child psychologist who is suffering from agoraphobia, and some new neighbors move in next door, and she witnesses something strange happen. And now she must investigate and figure out how to prove that she saw what she saw, while also, you know, dealing with her agoraphobia. Okay, I'm just gonna be totally real with you. I didn't really think that this movie looked very good. I heard it got pushed back a lot. It was being reshot, it was being rewritten. It was supposed to come out in like 2019. However, I know that in my Amy Adams top 5 list, I did say Amy Adams, who stars in the new film The Woman in the Window, which I'm actually quite excited to see. And it's true because it stars an amazing cast. It's got Amy Adams, Gary Oldman, Julianne Moore, Wyatt Russell. It's also directed by Joe Wright, who made Pride and Prejudice, Atonement. He also made Pan. Should have seen this coming. Now, the thing that is really frustrating about this movie is that there is actually some really cool stuff in it. Mainly, I really like Joe Wright's direction. I actually really like the movie Pride and Prejudice. I don't know why. This movie is shot really, really beautifully. There are some parts of this movie that are just jaw-dropping, and you're like, oh my god, that looks incredible. How did they shoot that? Honestly, like, the style of this movie, I think is really, really excellent. With that being said, I don't really think that the style of this movie is all that fitting for a horror movie. It kind of, I was thinking about it and I thought this would be a really cool style for like a spy espionage thriller, which this movie is not a fucking spy movie. Also, I mean, this movie stars Amy Adams, so you're getting a good performance from Amy Adams. I will say this is definitely one of the weakest performances I've ever seen from her, but she's not really working with much because the script is pretty not great. I feel like one of the biggest reasons this movie doesn't work is because the characters are just really unlikable. Amy Adams is likable, but the character that she plays in this movie, I have no reason to like her. I have a reason to feel kind of bad for her, but she doesn't really do anything that's like particularly kind or nice, so I don't really care. Then you meet other characters who come into her house and are talking to her and aren't very nice to her, but we're supposed to care about them. For example, Julianne Moore comes to Amy Adams' house early on in the movie, and she's incredibly rude to Amy Adams, yet you're supposed to believe that these two are hitting it off and are kind of friendly. With that being the case, you can't really get behind anything because you just don't really give a crap about the characters. Also, people just act weird in this movie. Character motivations make absolutely no sense. Like I said, Julianne Moore comes to Amy Adams' house and acts like a total asshole, yet Amy Adams is supposed to care about her, and you're like, okay, well, why? Then there are some other characters in this movie who are just really, really polite and kind one minute, and then all of a sudden, like on a dime, they just start screaming at other people that they were having no problems with before. No one makes sense in this movie. Everybody is doing just whatever the movie needs them to do. The tone is just all over the place. There's random parts where the characters make jokes and they start laughing, and I think they were trying to go for like a realistic kind of approach where people are in uncomfortable situations and they start making jokes. But there are some scenes in this that were like really serious and they just start cracking jokes and you're like, I don't think you should be joking right now. But there are a couple twists in this movie where I'm like, oh, I didn't fully see that coming. Most of the twists in this movie I saw coming from a mile away, but there were a couple where I was like, oh, I didn't know it was gonna go that way, which I appreciated. And also, it's not a boring movie. Well, the first 20 minutes are pretty brutal to get through, but once you get past those, it's kind of an entertaining watch, so there's at least that. I would say if you're a diehard Amy Adams fan and you just want to see everything that she's ever done, check out The Woman in the Window, but I really wouldn't recommend it. I don't know. I'm gonna give The Woman in the Window a 2.5 out of 10. Look, like I said, I don't like bashing movies, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's just a project that just didn't work out. I'm glad that people are getting their work seen. A lot of people worked really hard on this movie, so I'm glad that it's getting an audience. Anyway, did you see The Woman in the Window? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. What's your favorite Rear Window type movie? You know, like when somebody sees a crime that they shouldn't have seen and then they gotta try and prove it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay groovy, watch a movie.